Ever wondered why your furry best friend seems obsessed with turning you into their personal lollipop? Hold on to your seats because this might shock you. The average dog licks their owner about 50 times per day. That's right. Your adorable pup is basically giving you thousands of tiny tongue baths every month. Hey dog lovers! Today we're diving deep into one of the most misunderstood doggy behaviors that pretty much every pet parent deals with daily. You know what I'm talking about? That warm, wet sensation of your dog's tongue that can strike at any moment, whether you're watching TV, doing yoga, or just trying to put on your socks. Now, we've all heard that classic explanation. Oh, they're just kissing you because they love you. Well, hate to break it to you, but that's not the whole story. While there's definitely some truth to the affection angle, your dog's licking habit goes way deeper than just showing some puppy love. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how your dog seems extra interested in licking you right after you've finished a workout? Or how they go crazy for your feet, gross I know, after you've taken off your shoes? There's actually a fascinating scientific reason behind this behavior, and it dates back to their wild ancestors. But before we get to the really juicy and kind of icky stuff, we need to understand what's really going on in that furry little head of theirs. Let's get into the real meat of this topic, pun totally intended. You see, your precious pooch isn't just randomly sampling the human flavor of the day. They're actually collecting some seriously detailed information about you. Dogs have an incredible sensory organ called the Jacobson's organ, or the vomeronasal organ, which basically turns their tongue into a super advanced chemical analyzer. Mind-blowing, right? Here's where it gets wild. When your dog licks you, they're actually tasting your emotional state, your health condition, and even what you've been up to all day. It's like they're reading a detailed Facebook status update, but with their tongue. Your sweat contains hormones, pheromones, and all sorts of chemical signals that tell your dog exactly how you're feeling. Stressed about that big presentation? Your dog knows. Just finished a killer workout? They can taste those stress hormones. Having a bad day? Yep, they're picking up on that too. But wait, there's more. Remember those wild ancestors we mentioned? Well, in wolf packs, pups would lick their mother's mouth to trigger her to regurgitate food for them. Told you it would get gross? This instinct is still hardwired into our domestic dogs' brains. So when your dog is enthusiastically licking your face after you've eaten, they might be subconsciously hoping for a tasty snack. Don't worry though, they're not actually expecting you to barf up your lunch for them. Probably. And speaking of ancestral behaviors, here's where we get to the really fascinating and kind of disgusting parts. Are you sitting down for this one? Because here comes the grossest reason of all. Your dog might be licking you because, well, you're basically a giant salt lick. That's right. Your sweat, dead skin cells, and natural oils make you a walking, talking snack bar for your furry friend. And just like we humans can't resist a bag of potato chips, dogs are naturally drawn to these salty, mineral-rich treats that are constantly coating your skin. But it gets even more interesting and slightly more stomach-turning. In the wild, pack animals would lick each other's wounds because their saliva contains natural antibacterial properties. This instinct is so strong that your dog might be extra interested in licking any cuts, scrapes, or sores you have. They're literally trying to heal you. Sweet, but maybe keep a bandage on that paper cut. Here's another mind bender. When your dog licks you, they're also marking you as their territory. Their saliva leaves behind their unique scent, basically telling other dogs, hey, this human is taken. It's like they're putting a tiny property of Fido stamp all over you. And remember how we said they can taste your emotions? Well, they're not just collecting this information, they're responding to it. When they sense you're stressed or upset, many dogs will increase their licking behavior as a way to comfort you and themselves. It's actually been shown that the act of licking releases endorphins in dogs' brains, making them feel calmer and more relaxed. Ready for even more fascinating and slightly unsettling revelations about your dog's licking habits? Now, let's tackle something that many dog owners have experienced but might be too embarrassed to talk about. The infamous foot obsession. Ever wonder why your dog goes absolutely bonkers for your feet, especially after a long day? Well, brace yourself, because this explanation is both fascinating and kind of revolting. Your feet are basically a treasure trove of scent information for your dog, packed with hundreds of thousands of sweat glands and billions of bacteria that create that unique aroma. To your dog, your feet are like a newspaper, social media, and gossip column all rolled into one. But here's where we need to talk about when licking might be more than just a quirky habit. While most licking is totally normal, excessive licking can sometimes signal that something's up with your furry friend. If your dog is constantly licking themselves, you, or objects around the house, it might be a sign of anxiety, boredom, or even a medical issue. Think of it like humans biting their nails. A little is normal, but too much might mean it's time to check in with a professional. And speaking of health, let's address the elephant in the room. Is it actually safe to let your dog lick you? Well, it's complicated. While dog saliva does have some antibacterial properties, it also contains its own unique cocktail of bacteria. Most of these are harmless to humans, but if you're immunocompromised or have open wounds, it's probably best to keep the doggy kisses to a minimum. And please, for the love of all things hygiene, don't let them lick your mouth. Let's wrap this all up with some mind-blowing facts and practical tips about your dog's licking behavior. By now, you're probably looking at your four-legged friend a bit differently, aren't you? Maybe even wondering if you should invest in a hazmat suit. Just kidding, kind of. Here's the bottom line. While your dog's licking habits might seem gross from a human perspective, they're actually performing an incredibly sophisticated analysis of their environment and maintaining important social bonds. It's like they're running a tiny CSI lab with their tongue. Every time they lick you, they're not just showing affection. They're gathering data, marking their territory, trying to help you feel better, and sometimes even checking on your health. But don't worry, you don't have to let your dog turn you into their personal taste testing experiment. If the licking becomes too much, and let's face it, sometimes it does, there are plenty of ways to redirect this behavior. Try teaching them alternative ways to show affection, like giving you their paw or leaning against you. You can also give them appropriate things to lick, like puzzle toys filled with treats, which will keep both their tongue and their brain busy. And here's a fun fact to end on. Dogs are one of the few animals that will actually make eye contact while licking, showing that this behavior really is about connection and communication. They're literally trying to have a conversation with you. It's just in their own slobbery way. So, next time your dog goes in for those wet kisses, you'll know exactly what's going on. Sure, it might be a little gross, but it's also a testament to the incredible bond between humans and dogs. These amazing animals have evolved alongside us for thousands of years, developing sophisticated ways to understand and communicate with us, even if that communication sometimes involves more saliva than we'd prefer. Don't forget to share your own dog's quirky licking habits in the comments below. Does your pup have a favorite spot to lick? Maybe they're obsessed with your knees or can't resist your elbows. Let's hear those funny and possibly gross stories. And if you enjoyed learning about this fascinating aspect of dog behavior, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos about the weird and wonderful world of our furry friends. Remember, whether your dog is the occasional licker or a full-on slobber monster, they're just doing what comes naturally to them. And hey, at least now you know why they're doing it, even if you kind of wish you didn't. Until next time, keep those tails wagging and maybe keep some hand sanitizer nearby.